You know that empty balcony you've got out there? What if I told you it could literally become a lush, highly productive microfarm right outside your door? One that could actually feed your family. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking you from absolute beginner to urban farming master. We'll use the best research and practical techniques out there to totally transform your outdoor space.
Now you might be thinking, come on, a balcony can't really feed a family, right? I hear this all the time. People assume that because they don't have a sprawling backyard, growing a meaningful amount of food is just impossible. They think you just, throw some dirt in a pot, plop it on a terrace, and magically get a harvest. Or worse, they think it's not even worth trying at all. Well, today we are going to completely challenge that assumption with some real actionable science. But before we plant a single seed, I want you to look at this number. 600. That is how many kilograms a single cubic meter of wet soil, specifically green roof or balcony vegetable substrates, can weigh. Up to 600 kilograms. When you add the weight of the pots, the water, and the mature plants themselves, you are putting a massive load on your balcony. This right here proves that balcony gardening isn't just playing in the dirt. It's backed by science and requires serious structural planning. You absolutely need to know your balcony can handle that kind of weight.
Okay, so here's our blueprint for today. 1. Planning your balcony garden. 2. Choosing the right vegetables. 3. A planting and maintenance guide. 4. Maximizing your harvest. And 5. Troubleshooting common plant issues. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. Planning your balcony garden.
So a balcony is actually a pretty unique architectural environment. You're dealing with extreme climate shifts, intense heat reflecting off the building walls, and some pretty crazy wind patterns. Because of this, one of the most fatal mistakes beginners make is just scooping heavy dirt out of a yard for their pots. Please don't do this. Heavy garden soil compacts tightly, it carries diseases, and honestly, it drains terribly. You really must use lightweight, specialized vegetable substrates. These mixes are aerated, they retain moisture perfectly, and they prevent root rot without turning into a block of concrete.
Now, take a look at the required depth for different root systems here. If you want to grow deep-rooting crops, we're talking tomatoes, zucchini, eggplant, cucumbers, you absolutely need containers that are 30 to 40 centimeters deep. No exceptions. But hey, if you only have shallow pots, like around 15 to 20 centimeters, don't worry. You can still grow amazing shallow-rooting crops like leafy greens, radishes, carrots, and herbs. Matching the plant to the right pot depth is literally half the battle won.
Moving on to Section 2. Choosing the right vegetables.
Listen, your success here depends almost entirely on picking the right genetic varieties. You can't just buy standard garden seeds and expect them to thrive in a tiny pot. You need what we call compact determinate varieties. These are high-yield plants that naturally stop growing vertically, which saves you a ton of precious space. Check out the Venus tomato. It yields sweet orange fruit at just 30 to 40 centimeters tall. Or the microtom, literally the world's shortest tomato at 15 to 20 centimeters. For cucumbers, the Sandra F1 greenhouse type is perfect for vertical trellises, and you can pair those with compact peppers like cobalt and alladin.
But choosing the right plant also means you've got to do this sunlight math. Balconies facing south or west are generally your best bet. As you can see, tomatoes and peppers demand at least 6 hours of direct sunlight a day. If you only get about 5 hours, you're going to want to stick to those microtoms or lettuce. And if you're down to 4 or 5 hours, you can still manage certain varieties like zucchini, though heads up, they'll have huge leaves and need some really solid support. The golden rule: always match your crop to your balcony's actual light exposure.
All right, Section 3. Planting and Maintenance Guide.
Okay, so to prevent your plant's roots from literally suffocating and drowning, which is a condition called root asphyxiation, you need a strict 3-part drainage system. Step 1, fill the bottom quarter to a 30-year pot with expanded clay, gravel, or broken ceramics. Step 2, add a really fine 0.5 centimeter to 5 centimeter layer of sand. This is crucial because it stops the dirt from washing down and clogging up the drainage holes. And finally, step 3, top the whole thing off with your lightweight vegetable substrate.
Now, there is a modern shortcut if you want to skip all that: self-watering pots. These entirely bypass the need for that complex drainage layer we just talked about. But, and this is a big but for beginners, you still have to top water your plants initially. You have to train the roots to grow downward toward the capillary reservoir at the bottom first. Once they reach it, then the self-watering magic actually kicks in.
Which brings us to Section 4. Maximizing your garden harvest.
Growing food high above the ground introduces some really unique biological challenges that you just wouldn't face in a traditional backyard. Take a look at this crucial point. If your balcony is fully glazed, glassed in, or screened, natural pollination by insects is completely blocked.
Think about it. Without bees or wind reaching your enclosed balcony, the plants simply cannot form fruits. So, you have to step up and become the pollinator yourself. You'll need to gently shake the flowers or use a small brush to manually transfer the pollen.
Now here is a wild botanical fact that trips up a lot of balcony gardeners. Never, ever plant sweet and hot peppers right next to each other. Because they're in such tight quarters, cross-pollination can easily happen. And if it does, you might bite into what you think is a nice sweet bell pepper, only to find it unexpectedly setting your mouth on fire. So yeah, definitely keep those physically separated.
And finally, Section 5, Troubleshooting Common Plant Issues.
So eventually, you're going to have to defend your crops from some invisible invaders, like the dreaded spider mite, which is absolutely notorious for destroying balcony plants. The key here is understanding how plants naturally defend themselves through something called phytocytes. These are antimicrobial organic compounds emitted by certain plants, like garlic, that act as a natural repellent for pests. It's basically brilliant chemical warfare that plants use to protect themselves, completely eliminating the need for synthetic pesticides.
And this perfectly illustrates a concept known as the green shield. By using companion planting around the borders of your pots, you can create a natural barrier. Plant garlic to emit those phytocydes we just talked about. Plant coriander and make sure to pinch the tops to encourage more leafy growth. Add some dill, which produces a scent that is literally unbearable for spider mites. And lastly, chrysanthemums, which actually contain natural pyrethrum, an organic insecticide. Together, these 4 plants create a literal chemical-free fortress for your vegetables.
Just before we wrap up, I want to give you a super quick troubleshooting tip on watering. Consistency is everything. If you let your pots dry out completely and then just flood them, your plants are going to suffer from major stress. For example, if you bite into a beautiful balcony cucumber and it tastes incredibly bitter, it's not diseased, it's just crying out for a much more consistent watering schedule.
To conclude this explainer, I do have to urge you, always consult your local building structural professionals or local gardening experts. Balconies have very specific load limits and climates vary wildly. But armed with the knowledge from this masterclass, I want you to look at that empty balcony again. With the right planning, the right compact seeds, and the right soil science, think about how much incredible organic potential is just waiting to be unlocked in your tiny outdoor space. It's kind of amazing, right? Get out there and start growing.